Hey guys, it's the Nexo Ninja here today, and I'm here today to talk about my top 6 Mario and Luigi bosses. Why 6, you may ask? Because I am quite picky with my bosses, and I only enjoy certain aspects of a fight. So most of them will either just go over my head, or most of them I will not enjoy. So it only takes a certain boss for me to actually really enjoy it. So I really only do enjoy a certain time of boss, so top 6, that's why it's not 10. Now note, I haven't played the full game of Super Saga, but I've played enough to at least enjoy a boss or two. So they're going to be on this list too. I have not played Partners in Time yet, but I have completed Dream Team, Paper Jam, and Bowser's Inside Story. So consider that as well. So let's get right into the top 6 Mario and Luigi's bosses. Number 6 is the Bowser Jr. fight from Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Paper Jam is a good game despite what people say. The one thing I do agree with people is that the game had a lack of very creative bosses. The only bosses that the game featured were Mario villains that we are all very used to. And sure, Superstar Saga did that too, with having Koopalings, but Superstar Saga also had a lot of very unique boss fights. Paper Jam could do a lot better. This is why this is the only Paper Jam boss on the list. Bowser Jr., being one of my favorite Mario villains of all time, has a very great boss fight. He doesn't fight alone in this fight. He fights with his paper companion, Paper Bowser Jr., and they fight together. One of them's down, eventually they're going to revive that one up, and you need to strategize your attack to take which one down at a certain time. It's very, it's a really good fight, in my opinion. And also, there's a bunch of attacks, like they'll come at you with the clown carts. They use Mecha Koopas as well. And they have an unlimited stack of mushrooms on them. So this is going to be a pretty challenging fight that you should really strategize. Bro attacks is something that you really want to utilize because there's not just one boss, there's 2. So you want to hit both of them with all you've got. Number 5 is the Memory Bros from Bowser's Inside Story. I mentioned that they are pretty good bosses in the past, but I've never really went into good detail about them. I like sort of the aspect of Mario and Luigi fighting a different version of them. That's pretty cool by itself, but they need to get through the Memory Bros, as I like to call them, to get what they need to help out Bowser. So, what are they going to do? They're going to beat the crap out of them. They have various attacks similar to the real Mario and Luigi. One of them can utilize a star running at you, or you need to time your jumps perfectly. Also, I think if you knock out, I think it's Memory M, Memory L will revive him. I don't know if you knock out Memory L, if Memory M revives him. I think it's just Memory L with the unlimited mushrooms, but I could be wrong there. So, similar to the Bowser Jr. fight as well. This requires a lot of button pressing, which, you know, every game basically does, but what I mean by that is timed button pressing, because this boss fight takes a lot of skill out of you. It isn't that challenging, but if you mess up on one of their attacks, you do take not that much of a devastating hit, but you still do take a pretty bad hit as well, so you're going to need to time everything correctly. It's not much of a challenging fight, I just think it's a good fight that I always like to go back to for a pretty good time, but that's just my personal opinion. Number 4 is the first Popple and Rookie battle. I don't know if I said the name right, I probably didn't, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it wrong, but this is a really good fight, and this is the only fight from Superstar Saga on the list, and this is the only one out of the Popple and Rookie fights I have played is the original one, and it was pretty good, and basically they use attacks, utilizing it. Popple, I think that's his name, steals your items, where Rookie, he's totally Bowser, throws hammers at you and breathes fire. And I heard, I don't know if it's in this tack, it's been a while since I've played the game, but could potentially be in a different fight. They actually have their own bro attack, which is actually pretty cool. And once again, a pair of two, so you're going to have to time out which one you want to knock out. I definitely recommend you knock Rookie out before Populo. It's just a really enjoyable fight, and I heard they get better as they go on, but the first one was really good when I play it, and I did really enjoy it, and I can't wait to actually finish our Superstar Saga with the remake, because, it looks better, handles probably better as well, but definitely a really enjoyable fight. If you're playing it on the remake or the original, you're going to have a good time in this fight. Number 3 is Dreamy Bowser. Dreamy Bowser is the final boss at the end of Dream Team, and it is a tough fight if you ask me. Why? Well, because it's the final boss. Bowser has collected the Dream Stone because he ate the shards, and now he's become Dreamy Bowser. This big rainbow, huge, gigantic version of Bowser will do anything to stop you. If it be punching you, throwing airships at you, grabbing Mario, throwing Mario, running at you, he will do anything to knock out these two brothers. He's pretty strong, but if you're like me that always likes to grind in RPG games, you're going to have a pretty okay time. This fight is still a pretty much struggle, and you might want to have a few one-up mushrooms on you, because I guarantee he'll knock one of your bros out once or twice, so there's that. Really enjoyable final boss, and just great to strategize out, and make sure to bring some mushrooms with you as well, because he's going to take a lot of HP out of you. But normally final bosses tend to do that, so you probably had a few mushrooms on you as well. Number 2 is Dark Bowser, or the Dark Star Core, whatever you prefer to call them. This fight takes skill and a lot of button pressing, timing, and reaction. This being the final boss fight at the end of Mario and Luigi Bowser Inside Story, you're going to need to do a lot. If you want to get access to the Dark Star Core, you're going to have to do the first phase of the fight, being the Bowser phase. You're going to have to take a lot of hits from Dark Bowser until you get to a certain point where you can actually knock the Dark Star Core right out of Dark Bowser and swallow it yourself. Once that is swallowed, you as the bros need to get to defeat the Dark Star Core. But before you do that, you have to take out his limbs. So, wow, that's a lot to do before actually getting able to hit this boss. But he has a lot of devastating attacks. Dark Bowser can use Bowser's minions. He can punch. Dark Star Core has a lot of stuff he can do. He can swim his limbs around, shoot beams, and it's just definitely crazy. This is one of the most enjoyable and action-packed boss fights. You're probably going to get a few game overs before getting the actual hang of what to do, but it is just a really enjoyable fight. I do recommend that you do go over leveled, but it's a final boss. I'm going to recommend that for every final boss. So yeah. Number 1 is Intasma, Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I love this fight. It is absolutely one of my favorite bosses of all time, because Intasma is one of my favorite villains of all times. This fight was hyped up from the beginning. You fight Intasma as the first boss in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, not knowing what the heck that thing was that just attacked you. Then you realize, once you're halfway through the story, that it's Intasma, and now you know what the final boss is going to be. It turns out that it's not the final boss, because Bowser had to be a douche and betray Intasma, but it doesn't matter because we got this awesome fight out of it. In this fight, you're going to have a nightmare of a time, because Intasma is going to do a lot of attacks to try to defeat you. He will duplicate himself, shoot multiple fireballs at you. He will, when he's weak with HP, he will regenerate and let his Intasma munchies do the fighting for him. He will take Dreamy Luigi away from you, put it into an Intasma munchie, that meaning that you need to damage the Intasma munchie to get Dreamy Luigi back. Intasma also has a very high HP percentage, and I didn't even mention Intasma's main attack. If Mario takes enough damage in one of Intasma's attacks, he will fall asleep in the dream world. meaning that Intasma has a huge advantage. Intasma uses this advantage to chase Mario, causing Mario to run, and there's a bunch of black hole things on the ground. If Mario falls in the right one, he wakes up out of the nightmare. If he doesn't, he'll fall into a huge pit full of saws, and then he'll appear back in the nightmare, but he'll need to find the right hole. That can go on for a very long time and can take a very big proportion of Mario's HP away from him. It's a really enjoyable fight and one of my favorite boss fights of all time. It's a really great fight, and it is my favorite Mario and Luigi boss fight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd like to hear in the comments below, what is your favorite Mario and Luigi boss fight? Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.